We got the whole family with us today. We are going to get a big purchase. Can't wait to show y'all. Big is the key word. But anyways, we're heading out the driveway now. I found it on Marketplace. It's hard to find one of these in good condition. And I found this one that was in really good condition for a good price. And I thought it was an hour away based on the city they put. But turns out they live on the far end of that city, so it's an hour and a half away. So now for the big reveal for this big new thing we got. I'm telling you, it's huge, it's awesome. Let me show you. This is kind of, it's funny. It's funny. Right there we go. That is our new manure spreader. So it's kind of a joke, guys. We'll talk more about it at the end of this video. But very long story short, I've been looking for one of these for probably a couple years at this point, and they're either all, and new, they're way too expensive. This little thing sold for $2 grand new. The bigger ones are, you know, 3, 4, 5 grand. So I'm not going to put that kind of money into it because I'll get to that later, but we don't really have that much of a need for a manure spreader. But anyways, most of them are, people leave manure in them. Like they'll fill it halfway up and they'll leave that in there until they get the rest of the load done and all, and all of them are rusted out. So I kind of, beggars can't be choosers. This one came up for sale and it wasn't rusted out. It was like a, I don't know, it was a probably a 70 or 80-year-old guy that had it. He was just kind of, sounded like he was just getting, I think he had donkeys and he had got rid of them. But he said he bought it within the last 5 years, he said, and he kept it inside and he hosed it out after every single time. And that is the life of them. But anyways, that's why it's in such good shape. I mean, check it out. I mean, you know, none of it looks wore at all. The tires still have the nubs on it. So, anyways, this is a Millcreek, and we'll talk more later about why I bought it and that kind of thing. But here's the other side. Give you guys a view of the inside. Guys, I paid for this thing what people are asking for ones that are bigger but rusted out, you know, pieces of junk. So I feel like for our needs, which is the very important part, for our needs, I feel like we got a good buy. So here we are doing a little bit of a pit stop on the old manure spreader, guys. Got it hooked up to the golf cart. This is what I intend to spread with, which is the whole reason I bought this thing. But anyways, this is built just like a bigger spreader. I mean, that's a nice thing. It's actually touted as the world's smallest traditional manure spreader. So it's got an apron chain, and it's got a you know, a beater system back here and all that. I think some of those newer spreaders, if you ever seen them, might be smaller, but they're not traditional. But anyways, yeah, you got 2 levers up here. One does the apron chain, one does the beater drive. And what I'm gonna do right now, I got it jacked up, and if I spin this wheel, there's this chain here. All this is sealed bearings and everything. It's nice. But anyways, I'm gonna oil this chain right here. And then I'm also gonna oil the apron chain, but I gotta jack up the other wheel to do that. And the other thing I had to do, guys, let me come over here. Normally, the hitch on this golf cart is an 8-inch drop hitch, and that's for like my little trailer I pull with it and all that. But this thing is so low to the ground, which is, they tout that. And the reason is you don't have to pick a pitchfork up very far to, like if you're in a stall, to load it in here. So I had to get an 11-inch drop hitch to put this about riding mower height drawbar to make everything good and level. So I did that. And then also, the 5/8 hitch, or 5/8 hitch pin I had, well, I actually bought it. This is the shortest one I could find. It was a 4-incher. So I made this little conduit bushing here, because if I didn't, the pin, oh, come on. stuck pretty far down on something that's already pretty low. So I just took a piece of conduit, slip that in, trying to do this one-handed, put that in. Now that holds that up good.
Up on the mountain, down on the farm, living each day in my country charm. Ain't no other place I'd rather be. Life on the farm is the only life for me.
So I got the manure spreader all oiled up, lubed up, we're ready to go. This looks like junk, and it is, but this is our system for manure. I will explain this system at the end, but for right now, I want to try this thing out. So some of these bags have more manure in them, some of them have more shavings in them, some of them have more hay or straw in them or whatever. It's just the luck of it, but the only way we really know is to start. Now, one important thing to note, this is a year's worth of manure for us, which is why I wanted the spreader. We don't get much manure, guys, but my hope is our system is kind of based on these trash bags, at least at the moment. And I'm hoping one of these bags will fit in this spreader and I can just kind of like do it one at a time. Kind of works out great if that's the case. Looks like it's gonna work good. This is goat manure, cow manure, shavings, hay, all that. It's gonna be a load. I'm also probably just gonna spill some in the course of today, basically. By the way, this might be the most manure this thing has ever spread in its life. Kind of based on the vibes I was getting. So I'm definitely gonna change up. When I put the bag in there, I'm gonna try to spin it around and cut the bottom. That way I can pull it up. Because I'd rather not make a huge mess right here. Like I said, again, I will explain like why we do it this way. But it goes into the fact that we just don't get a lot of manure and or use a lot of manure. So anyways, right now, I kind of got a situation. I'll get this perfected. So I spread that first load off camera, but what I'm gonna do now is do like this. You got the bottom of the seam of the bag here. I'm gonna see if this works better. So I've got that cut. Then I'll spin it. Oh yeah, look at that. Alrighty. We're gonna see if it'll spread this heavy, wet hay here. Hay, halfway compost-like stuff here. I will engage the apron, engage the beaters, and the way the wind's going, it's going this way, which is forcing me to do the field short ways instead of long ways, but it's fine because it's almost like short ways is the exact amount, the exact length to get rid of this manure. So one thing I noticed that you only have one speed on the apron, so it comes out pretty quick. So you got to drive pretty fast, relatively fast. But you know what's awesome? I wanted it for the golf cart specifically because I can sit here and talk. I don't have two hands. We have a four-wheeler, so I'm not using two hands to turn the four-wheeler. This is an electric cart. I love it. Look at that. This thing's working great. This is exactly what we need. I'm getting close to the end. And once it starts kicking stuff back up to the front, what I found is cut the beater off, which is right here, and then let the apron just push the rest of the stuff out. The funny thing is, I'm literally at the end of the field, short ways. The apron's pushing that out. So I know that this setup is kind of comical, and it is, you know, but so let me show you what we were using before. You see this wooden trailer back here? It's made off of a truck axle and so forth. But anyways, this trailer back here, we would hook our truck to it. We would put all of those bags on the trailer at once, and I would have my wife drive the truck, and I used a leaf blower in combination with like a rake, and that's how we did it. The thing is with that, I basically had to do it to where we just kind of did one spread for the year. You know, we collected all this manure and did one spread for the year. It was just too much of a hassle. I mean, you're not gonna get one load of manure and put it in there and do all that just for that. I gotta say, engaging everything is easy. This looks like drier, mostly goat manure is what this batch looks like. Like I say, guys, I love not having a gas engine running and just being able to sit here and talk to you guys. But yeah, I mean, thing works good. Golf cart has no trouble with it. This thing is hopped up a little bit, but it breaks it up and flings it fairly well, I would say. I mean, again, guys, we fertilize our fields with commercial fertilizer, and you know, we don't get enough manure to actually do anything for fertilization. So, you know, this is just basically get rid of our fertilizer. Once I get to this point, I will shut the beaters off and then just have the apron push the rest of that out. Watch how this apron works. So you've got this wheel here, and when I let this lever down, it engages that wheel with this, it's like a big star cam here on this wheel. And then this thing will move up and down, and it moves a ratcheting mechanism back here, which ratchets the apron chain back. This load is a little bit smaller than the others, and it's mostly wood chips, which I know is not great, but it's what that bag was. So anyways, also it's super rank. This was like, I think this is almost a year old on this one. So most of the load's in the front, so it'll take a minute for the apron to get it back to the beaters. But that cam, man, that thing works pretty daggone good. Gets it back there fast too. Guys, I've spread, this is the first major wood chip spread. But hay and everything hadn't been no issue for this spreader. Now we're pretty much down to where I'll just use the apron. So here's a load that's primarily hay. So I'll show you how good it spreads that. I mean, it really does do a pretty good job. I think once we get to the back like that, it'll start kicking it forward. Yeah, all I gotta say, guys, is be glad that we don't have smell-o-vision on YouTube, because I tell you one thing, whoo, some of this stuff is rank, man. So I got all the manure spreading done, and I told you, so our geese are astronomical right now. One of them's broody. We have 4, so there's 3 there. One of them's just sitting on a nest in there. And man, they are just super, you know, territorial when all that's going on. But anyways, I told you that I would show you how we get our manure and kind of that whole thing. There's the broody goose. Here's our cows. Pretty much what we have is cows, Highland cows, and some goats. These cows and goats and everything have full access to the pasture all the way down there all the time. And the manure that you saw me spreading in bags and everything is only from this awning right here. That's it. And what I do occasionally, once or twice a week, depends on if it's summer or winter and how much they're up here. If it's summertime and they really like the grass out there, they're hardly ever up here. But I sweep these stall mats up just with a push broom. Occasionally we clean the stall out. So that's why there was some bags with a bunch of shavings in them. But anyway, so I sweep this up, and then I use a scoop, and I put everything in this trash can right here. See that? And once that gets full, you know, you got to remember, we didn't have a manure spreader before. I would load that on the back of the golf cart and then take it to that area that you saw over there, collect it for a year, and then pretty much after the last cutting of hay, we would load it onto that trailer and manually just kind of spread it. It does end up being more manure than you just want to waste or something. I mean, it's, you know, you want it to be good use. The system with the trash bags works out pretty well. What I think I'm gonna do though, now that we have this, see how small it is? That's why I wanted it. I can get it right in here, right where I need it with the golf cart. I think what I'm gonna do, I might be able to forego the trash bags and basically sweep and collect into a trash can until it gets full, and then dump this into this. And what I found out was pretty much one of these equals one of these. So, you know, that wasn't necessarily planned, but that's pretty awesome. Sometimes I probably would have to collect it when the hay field is tall and stuff and you can't actually get out there. Or at that time I spread on the pasture or whatever, where it's shorter and whatnot. Okay guys, so I am really happy with that Millcreek manure spreader. That thing did amazing. I mean, and the golf cart did amazing too. I mean, it's just a great combination, honestly. We can sweep this up, we can load it, and we can just spread it out right away. It's just, I really like it. With that said, guys, I will put some videos up here that I think you might enjoy. If you decide to watch those, I'll meet you over there. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you again next time.